This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CJB. Today, we are finishing my little run of the decks that I think you should use to get back to Mythic, and it's been a little out of my comfort zone and more aggressive than I usually play. You guys know I love Yorion decks, I love Shark Typhoon decks, I love blue decks, and we've played Mono Red, we've played Rogues, which is a blue deck but has kind of an evil stigma about it. We played Sultai Ultimatum, which I love, and we played Mono White Life, two different versions, all the way to #1 Mythic. Today we're going to round out the series of a deck that I think you can spam and get all the way as high up the ladder as you want to get if you're willing to learn to play it better than I do. And that is another deck I hate, Jeskai Cycling. Cycling has had a resurgence recently, and it is because of the last pathway getting introduced, quite honestly. Hengegate Pathway got introduced with Kaldheim, and Hengegate Pathway actually makes it so that the cards are castable. The blue cards are castable. And that makes a huge difference in the cycling deck. Yes, you can cut all these rare lands. And if you cut the rare lands, you can have a completely budget deck with no rares in the main deck. But if you have the lands anyway, and I do recommend that you craft the lands early, especially in the colors that you like, because, you know, they're good. Like, the pathways are some of the best lands, some of the most played lands, most playable lands we've had. Compared to like real dual lands, and shock lands are probably better, but pathways are really good. Anyway, if you have them, add them to your cycling deck because they do let you play the spells that you cycle. So you'll see here that we're a Jeskai deck. We're focused on the red and the white and the blue spells, hence the sleeve. And we also add a few non-cycling cards. Now, in the cycling decks lately, people have been adding cards that don't cycle here and there. Ironcrag Pyromancer and Rial the Everwise are making splashes in some cycling decks. I don't like those as much because you have to cut Lurrus, which is a card I always find overperforms in all of these decks. And then the other thing that you can run instead of Rial and instead of Ironcrag Pyromancer is Improbable Alliance, which adds even more token creation to the deck. We all know how good a turn 2 Valiant Rescuer is. Well, Improbable Alliance is harder to kill and makes 1/1s every turn, and that makes this a pretty good matchup against the Mono White deck, because you're just generating chump blockers every turn that they don't really interact with. And you block and you block and you block until you Zenith Flare, and then you win. Now, that makes this a pretty good choice for current meta. The hardest decks for it to beat will be decks that have Embercleave because they slice and dice through the chump blockers. But even those decks might fold to a giant Flourishing Fox and a Zenith Flare. Also, Frostveil Ambush, tapping 2 target creatures and then them not untapping, can blow up an Embercleave turn if you're able to get the mana to cast it. So that's why we have the spells that we have. The other question that you may ask is why a Blightstep Pathway with no black cards in the deck? It's because if we want to cast the Lurrus that we bought, a Blightstep Pathway can be played on black, which can help us cast Lurrus, and a mountain would not be able to do that. So usually there's a basic mountain in this spot. I have a Blightstep Pathway because I think it's strictly an upgrade to help cast the Lurrus someday. That's why it's there. People are going to leave comments, why Blightstep Pathway? That's why. But it's a very small niche thing, and you definitely don't need to run the pathway in the deck. The Triomes make me nervous, but as long as I'm going to play Improbable Alliance, I think playing Triomes makes sense. Otherwise, you really want to avoid tap lands. And I am very curious to see how cycling holds up in the current meta. There aren't a lot of things out there to stop it. There aren't a lot of blue counter spells in the meta. And there very much are a lot of cheap, low-to-the-ground decks that are going to have trouble with Flourishing Fox. So, we're going to play it in Mythic. Will this be the deck that just grinds me out of the top of the Mythic ladder? Will this be the day we fall short? God knows I'm not great at playing these styles. So, we will find out. Today, I'm going to do a quick dedication, and this one's going to go out to some patrons. I have one of my patron tiers, as I will shout you out in a video. I am very bad about that. I'm also very honest with people about that. I often forget these things, but I want to take a moment to shout out some top patrons who have supported me for a long time. So today's video is dedicated to 7th guest, Andrew Morrison, Dan Clevenger, and Disco Bisco. You guys, thank you so much for supporting me on Patreon for so long, and we're going to pick up a sweet cosmetic in your honor in the cycling deck, which that on its own might be a ridiculous thing to say. Which should it be? How about the Fox? I want a turn 1 Fox all day. So let's do it. We now have our shiny foxes. The shiny foxes will reward us. Let's dive in. Let this nonsense begin. On the draw, that's a lot of rescuers. We're up against Luris. It could be a mirror, and it could be rogues. I guess we keep. We have the lands, and we have 3 threats that they have to deal with. Of course, they could just go flying over the top, right? But there's Rune Crab. This can be a good matchup for us. Cat's out of the bag as soon as we play this, though. Obviously, they mill us. As long as we actually draw a Zenith Flare at some point and we resolve it, they just kind of die. So a big thing to do will be to count the number of Zenith Flares that hit our graveyard. The opponent has Thieves Guild Enforcer. There's a flare. Okay, they don't have Thieves Guild Enforcer. They have Blood Chief's Thirst then. Something held priority in that moment. All right, double crab. The question is going to be, can they hold up Drown in the Loch the whole game, and can we draw enough flares to force them to counter one, then play the other? They let this live. Interesting. This might be a trade, but we're going to go for it anyway. Okay. Improbable Alliance is here. Do you block the Rescuer? Okay. The next trick is going to be hitting our next land drop. Our flare is already at 14. Let's see what it is after these crabs. 17, 20. Flare is literally for 20. That last card must be a Drown in the Locker. They would have played it. So now the most important thing is that we hit a land drop this turn. We could try to play another Rescuer and make a bunch of creatures, but I'm just going to cycle. Okay, we have a Crater. Try to leave this up. If we can hit a blue source, we can play the Alliance. Oh no. I really want my land. I know, I could have waited till next turn to make another creature, but don't think that's it. Are we gonna die to no land? How many turns is this? If they have a Fabled Passage, we're just so close to dead. It would be a sad way to die. They're coming in for the mill. 19 cards. No land drop, no land drop, no land drop. They're sacking the Windrobber. No land drop, no land drop, no land drop. No! It's gotta be a land. Land or death. It's not a land! Okay, we can still try to cycle to it, but we're on 9 cards, so if the opponent hits a land, we lose. So we do have to... oh wait, we can try this, but they'll counter it probably. YOLO. They let it resolve because they're afraid of the flare. All right, so now we have another draw. Come on, land. Land. No! Why? All right, so that mills 2. That's down to 6, so we're dead to a land. Or a land from the opponent. Come on. Another thief, oh no! All right, if we can still hit an untapped land if they don't have one. What's left in the deck? Oh, it's a tap land, and there's one untapped land in the deck. Okay, we have to draw the untapped land and then go for this on our upkeep. There's 3 cards left. But we have to draw the land now. We can draw 1, 2 cards. One of them has to be the land. Well, there's 2 lands, so we will draw one. Okay? But if they have a counter, we lose to it, which is so stupid. How can we draw out a counter spell? We can't. Like, we just don't have the means. This is so dumb. We drew 3 Zenith Flares, but only 3 lands. There we go. All right, so red. Don't think it matters anymore. Because if they have the counter, we lose. And they've held it up the whole time, so I think they do have it. But maybe they'll just do something flexy. If we had had this a turn sooner, we could have end-step flared and then upkeep flared. Don't cycle by accident now, it would be sad. Alright, just play some nonsense. Okay. Well, at least I can show you that this is a possibility, but it's not gonna work, is it? They always have a counter. God, they got so lucky. Stupid rogues. Oh, that makes me mad. Can't even beat rogues. Life is pointless. We're on the play. We have a flourishing fox. We're against Gigantha, which could be sacrifice, which would be bad because they can steal our fox and beat us with it. And we could be the Naya Scald's deck, which I haven't played that matchup, but I think it could be good. Mulligan, okay. They might be looking at Luris thinking it's rogues, which makes them choose different hands. Unfortunately, a lot of the hands you look for against rogues, similar to what you look for against us, with possibly the exception of escape cards. Oh wow, turn 1 Throne of Death. Alright, so it is probably Rakdos Sacrifice, which means this fox can probably die. We see they play Elspeth's Nightmare. That would be a bad card to go against for us. Turn 2 Bone Crusher or Stomp or... And this is why Cycling deck, more than others, is so good on the play. I guess with Thirst it didn't matter, but things like Bone Crusher Giant in that spot just absolutely destroy you. Let's get a Rescuer down. Whereas if we had been on the play, a Bone Crusher and a Heartless Act can't kill the Fox. So it's a very play draw dependent deck, like many aggro decks. I think Cycling is even more so. I believe the matchup matrix I saw put Cycling as a serious underdog against Rakdos, which... Or no, actually it was the other way around. But they're doing good. They have a turn 3 Egon, but we can make blockers. Let's see if we can find our land drop. Okay, not completely mana screwed today, feels good. We'll pass, do some more cycling to make more blockers. We should make them while we can before the opponent kills the Rescuer. Alright, this will exile 2 cards. So now the biggest fear we have is an Embercleave. Some Rakdos decks play the Cleave. They do have multiple 6/6s in there. Others, they play the Plow. Now our opponent has Gigantha, so we're not afraid of an Embercleave. That's always something that takes me a minute to register. I look at mana, I don't look at companions. Another one? That's legendary. Alright. I guess their hand really only rolls one way. Let's make a critter. I think we cycle again, although we do have 2 cyclers. Actually, cycling again if we hit another land actually throws us off next turn. Ooh, okay. I think that's better. So that'll make a fairy. Nice. And we'll pass it back. Don't know about the startling development and if we can end up using it here. It is the kind of thing that you can hold up as a good combat trick. The stingers are really good though. So I think I cycle this before I cycle those. What? Carrion Grub. 4 mana, 0/5, insect, plus X+O, where X is the greatest power among creature cards in your graveyard. That's 6. When it enters mill 4? Well, okay. They don't have another red for the Kroxa, but they might draw it. Fresh creature. Man, we can be living the wildlife, or we can start plinking the opponent with the stinger. Man, are they going to sweep the board ever? They can tear apart our heart a bit. Our heart? They can tear apart our hand a bit if they bring back Kroxa. That's the big fear. Now, if we draw a land off the cycle of the Go for Blood, then we still get to cycle on our opponent's turn. Let's get the stingers going. The creatures are too big to go for blood and succeed with. And we do draw the land. Okay, so potential double cycle on their turn. Not for sure, though. Alright, start the aerial assault. Maybe I'm supposed to throw away a token there, but I'm pretty sure it gets better if I wait. Which card do I cycle? Which card do I play? I think here it's the Rescuer. There is the chance we cycle into a cycler and then get a fairy. But knowing me, I'll cycle into a land. Got him! The Carrion Grub was not strong enough to overcome us. Played this player earlier. I believe they were on a blue-white Foretell control deck, and we have a turn 1 Fox, no other land, but so we keep, obviously, and the improbable alliances that we can't cast if we play the Fox. Ooh, a Triome, though. All right. I still think it's all about what the Fox says. We'll see. This might be a big mistake. Maybe I was supposed to Triome into Alliance here. Harder to deal with. If the opponent just has Eliminate or something, we're in trouble. Prophecy, scry 2. 2 to the top. Okay. I really do want to play an Alliance at some point. It doesn't have to be this turn, though. So let's start with a cycling. Got him! People hate this deck as much as I do. All right, on the play with a Stinger and 2 Flares against Obosh. They might have Saw It coming in the Temur Adventure pile. And the Dragon, of course, is a pain. But I think we keep the hand. It's going to be very bad against Bone Crusher Giant, though. So maybe we just try to cycle our way to Flare here as fast as we can. Lovestruck Beast. Yeah, it is, like, this Rescuer might just get destroyed. Let's take the chance. It seems like usually you do need a creature on the board. So we'll see how perfect their draw is. If they have Lovestruck Beast into Bone Crusher, like, what are we supposed to do? All right, Foretell. Might be a Saw It coming, which could definitely be a problem. No attacks, protecting their life total. Let's also play a Stinger if they don't have a Bone Crusher yet. Play this on red. Cycle here. Another cycler locked in. Now it's a race. Like, Can they play a dragon in time? Can they play Alrund's Epiphany in time? Let's see what happens when we cycle this and then make our decision on the Triumph. Okay, probably cycling that on their turn, but I think I'm cycling the Triumph actually. At this point, we have too much land. Blue source up. Hinged down. Rats. That's going to be messy. Another Foretell. Probably no attacks. That's aggressive. They're feeling good. Could also take it, but I think we preserve life total while we can because we're not going to block the dragon. Fox. Making a big fox I don't think is actually going to get through on the ground unless we have a footfall crater. So I think we're cycling it. Also, making 1,000,000 creatures probably doesn't get the job done, so I think we're just in full cycle mode from now on. Get some chip shot in here. Take it all. Okay. All right, we want to cycle at least one this turn. Get our 1/1, get another card. I think we hit our land for the turn, didn't we? Well, it's okay to cycle some of this for now. We didn't hit our land for the turn. Feels good. All right. And we'll say go and cycle the Rescuer on their turn. We've got him on 6. 6/6 here on the Flares. They need to play a dragon this turn. Alrund's Epiphany would be really good too. You have to remember there's life from the henge to be had. Here comes the giant. Let's cycle now. Zandu Valley, still no double blue or double red for the opponent, but they're holding up mana. That's a saw it coming. Okay. Could attack with everything. The opponent blocks the Rescuer. We don't get 1/1s anymore. Could just attack with all these. They have 2 life, though, so we can't make our Zenith Flare lethal anyway, even if we push through 2 more damage. So I think we hold. Although, does it get better? It probably doesn't get better. Let's take it where we can get it here. The board only gets more clogged up from here, only gets harder to get through. Up to 13. Cast the giant. So even if this resolved, like if they counter this and we untap, we don't have lethal, right? Wait, we cast, so we can do this for 11. And then 1/2. Okay, it would be lethal. All right, then here you go. What you got? Uh-huh. They saw it coming. Oh no. Interesting play. Has its moments. This is not one of them. Bang! That should do it. You gotta wonder about their hand, you know? Did they also... Oh, they're nice. Did they also have the dragon? Did they have Alrund's Epiphany? Probably. Probably. Giving off them mono red vibes on the draw. But we do have Improbable. We'll give it a shot. This is mono red. They play mono red. I smell a tough game. I smell a really tough game. Robber of the rich. My land! We're gonna need a cloud of fairies to help manage this. We're also going to need to find white mana, which was stolen from us. Our deck is built with certain things in mind. And now, there goes a fox. You're going to cast my fox? Man, does being on the draw sucks. Can we not do this anymore? Alright, that is not a good draw. Land? That is not a good draw. And game. You guys know I love adding more lands to my decks than the net deckers prefer. So usually 2 losses like that where I just don't draw a land, that is my limit before I add another land to the deck. In this case I added 2, took out the Drannith Healers. Let's see how it goes. Especially the fact that 4 lands have cycling, I think we can get away with it. Don't forget to pack a lunch. Good advice. We have a stinger we can't cast. In fact, we don't put pressure on the opponent at all. We're on the draw. I think it's a mulligan. I think it's too slow. Okay, now we have no creatures. We're just gonna have to hit one. This can go away for later. A red on turn 1 opens up all of the potential 2-drops because you can play Alliance if you draw it. And right now we have no creatures and it's Speaker of the Heavens time. Yep, we have to find a way to do some damage and stop them from gaining life and getting up to 27, or the angels will overwhelm us. We can compete in this matchup, but I think our hand is too bad. So we need to draw into some goods. That's a start. That is a start. I'll take it. Okay, white. Fox say. What did the fox say? We need our opponent not to have land Sky Maul. If we can dodge that, we're okay. Also, land Skyclave Apparition is brutal. They have land. Which 3-drop would you like to beat me with? Not bad. Not bad. It's only 1 away from turning on. Oh no. Okay, I guess they're going to use the dog here. But that makes sense. I would do the same thing. Improbable Alliance. Well, at least that can make some blockers. How are we gonna stay in this game? Big Zenith Flares, I suppose. If we attack here, the opponent has to take it, but they just gain it back. The thing is, are we gonna be able to block this when the Alseed is up? No, right? We're gonna end up blocking here anyway. So we at least make them gain the life back. That's a big deal. Oh, Lord. Too good at magic. All right. So this has first strike, so it will trigger Heliod. Then they put the counter here, and it's a blowout, so we have to block like this. 25. They put the counter here, not here. They could have had one more life. Yeah, they could have made angels that turn. They failed. Yeah, not smart. All right, if we startling development this, it becomes 4. If the opponent uses Alcide to save the speaker, the Sky Maul falls off. Is that the play? We don't have any other cyclers, so we can't. This would become 6. It's not enough anyway. So it's not the play. We just don't have enough cyclers. So we do this. We hit Boon. Flare to face, they would have just gotten it back. So that's not good enough. This is tough. Don't be mad at me for thinking. I wonder if buying Luris is a strategy here. Probably not. Throwing the fox under the bus doesn't look good. Let's see, we can get this to 5. I think we want to try to get higher by saying go and making another fairy. I'll see double this back. Come on, another cycler, please. Okay. The lands I added were pathways, so this might have been another cycler before. Go for blood. If we go after this and the opponent gives it protection from white, they have the block. It's pretty mean. They're at 33, so it's going to be really hard to get them too low for the speaker, and the fact that they have an 8/8 is pretty unassailable at this point. Stinger. Hello. So, the hit drops them not low enough. So let's save these for our turn to make bonus fairy. Would it be low 27? Yes, but they just attack and get it back. Jesus. Unplayable. We're in unplayable territory. Crossveil ambush. Is that the answer we're looking for? It's too late. It's way too late. Opponent leaving up protection means that Zenith flaring this is not an option. Tapping things down, not really an option. Alcide can prevent that too. Might have to get Luris into the party. I would love to do it when I also have 2 cycles to make another fairy, because the angels are still coming. But I guess I can take that chance now. Yeah, this is unbeatable. Really, everyone. Well, I guess you have the dog now. This is just too much. I can't take it. Got destroyed by my creation. On the draw? Okay. That's two on the plays, 6 on the draws now. Looks like we are gonna get Fervent Championed. Let's go. At least we're not mana screwed this game. Anytime I can hit land drop 3, I don't feel too bad. Because we should get to land drop 4. Bloodsky Berserker. Rakdos aggro. Funky. Funky, funky, funky. Let's start making tokens as quickly as we can. Might be too slow, but we'll see. Magic on the draw is so hard. Order of Midnight. Wayward Guide Beast. This is what we lose to now. Way behind. In need of a miracle. And this has... No, it doesn't have Menace. Okay, it doesn't have Menace. I thought it did. Does it gain Menace? It does when you cast 2 spells. Alright, well we know 1 card's a land because they played the one that wasn't the pathway. So are these last 2... They're not spells. Okay, so they have another land in hand or something uncastable. I think we just protect our life total. We can make more 1/1s. All right, we're in this. It's still a game. All right, 2 cycles on their turn makes 2 more creatures. Let's chill. They played another land and they're still holding one, so they are still a bit flooded. Okay. Now I think we'll put it to them with some double blocks to have the right answers, because we can rebuild pretty strong. That's a lot of flair. You know, Andrew over there has 32 pieces of flair. What would you think of someone who just did the bare minimum? Saying that's an old movie reference. I don't think I cycle this on end step either. I really want to cycle on my turn to get the fairy, because what if we draw 2 land in a row and then we make no fairy and no creature with the rescuer? It's not good. It's a bad look. Okay. Well, I guess that's going to grow the Berserker. But now the Menace isn't useful. Okay, we hit another 1-drop. Now I'm not going to play the Fox. I'm going to cycle this and the Triome on my opponent's turn. Just make more creatures. More creatures, more creatures, more creatures. Look at these. The flares are piling up. We do have to start casting them. I guess we could start firing them off now instead of cycling. That doesn't sound great, though. I think we're supposed to cycle here. Look at him go. Order of Midnight showing up. Shuffler is doing it. Now, actually, it's Order of Midnight, getting back Order of Midnight, getting back this. It keeps triggering the Berserker. Makes it look pretty sick. Not gonna lie, makes the Berserker look pretty sick. Wow. Don't hold back. Do I want to trade with the Guide Beast now? I think the rest of our game is going to be Zenith Flaring Face, because then they die, so we may as well do this. Let's make our fairy. Say go. Flare the face. Untap, flare the face. And never stop flaring the face. Fervent champion, but not quite mono red. Okay. Well, it's all known information here. Play the lands they know about. Then I can't make plays like this. It's too risky. Bang! We got one. Oh my gosh. And hard work today, man. Hard work. Red, blue on the play or improbable. Love it. Cat's out of the bag, but I don't like holding priority for no real reason. Unless I'm bluffing something. Oh ho ho. Alright, so this version doesn't run Luris, so it might be the Reality Everwise nonsense, and we'll see if it breaks the mirror, because I'm really curious about that myself. Alright, untap land off the top and we can double alliance. Our opponent's cycling before playing anything might be mana trouble. Okay, we do not get the untapped land off the top. So I'm going to cycle and try to find land because I think that's the most important thing here. And there we go. Can go for white. Now we can resolve a fox or we can make another fairy on our opponent's turn. I'm gonna go for the fox. Fox is strong. Forces the opponent to start blocking sooner, especially since they don't have a board presence yet. There's Real. No way to deal with it. Okay. We'll play you. We'll cycle now. I know, should have played this pre-combat, but I was hoping to, I don't know, hold them into something. It was stupid. Let's see how crazy they go. All right, they've got combo. Whoa, they're going very ham. See, cycling now, I guess we do it. We need to flare them. There's no other way. And we need to be the first to flare. After this turn, we're not going to get through anymore. There's going to be too many fairies. We could flare the Real, but we just want to flare face and win. No point in playing the Rescuer either. Yeah, I guess 2 more fairies isn't going to help me much. Let's get the damage while we can. Now we need to bluff. Awkward. We don't want them to we don't want to let them know that we're out of cyclers, really. Just any information can be used against you. When it finds the white source, another alliance. Okay, maybe we don't get a hit through this turn. And if we don't, we need another cycler to go to the graveyard. We need our fox to die. Oh my. Oh no. Not like this. All right, turn them all sideways. If they make 3 creatures, they block everything, but they still have to block the fox. Will they take 1 point of damage? Do they have a negate? We can wait. We can wait. We can be patient. Weird. They might play negate. They might. It's 20-4. What if they do play something like that? Is this gonna get away from me? Am I way too cautious? Probably. It's just the way I am. Maybe they're flooded too. Okay, go for blood. It's interesting. Can I get a reaction from you? You want to do anything? Berries! So now they can flare in response to a flare, and they've got 5 cards in the graveyard, and I've only got 7. So they live? Okay, they go for blitz. I'm just doing it now. I'm scared. I'm scared. What could they do? Another blitz. Okay. Whew. I'm gonna talk myself out of victories sometimes, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna find a way to do it. All right, keep going first, got mana, let's go. Let's go, gamers. See what the opponent plays. Hello indeed, your go. I mean it with affection. It's for the fans. All right, against white, I think we play the Rescuer. The only thing we can do really wrong that turn is play this as a white source, and then we can't play the Improbable Alliance, then cycle. Or I guess we still could. Yeah, there's no wrong way to eat the Reese's. I offer you a trade. Would you like to trade? No? All right, this should be the kind of, like, I'm interested to see how it goes, but this should be the kind of hand and start that can beat mono white. It's one of the good reasons to play cycling is the matchup shouldn't be too bad. If you have multiple token makers, you just tear them apart. Opponent has the Skyclave, unfortunately. It's kind of sad. We put a counter on the Skyclave. Okay. So we could attack and see how they block. We have startling development. Do we want the Stinger? Stinger seems like it can also get the job done. I think we attack first. I guess if we're going to play the Stinger either way, we could play it now. But the startling development, killing either one of these sets them way back. Like way back. Nice. Also, probably the blocker we wanted. Because we get a creature. Puts a ton of pressure on them now. Castable spells in cycling. What is the world coming to? Yeah, second Luminarch, Selfless Savior. How are they going to find the time, though, to be aggressive? Can they? Yeah, no attacks there. Another Flare isn't ideal. If we attack with everybody, they probably block this with this and take... Maybe they trade with the dog, maybe not. They take some points, for sure. We get them pretty low, and we have 2 flares, and we sort of want this in the graveyard. I'm actually thinking this is an all attack with cycling this before the rescuer dies. We actually want these to die on the battlefield with honor. If they get exiled, we actually don't have many cycling cards. It's very scary. Okay. If we say go here, they don't save their Luminarch. And they also didn't block, so maybe they don't plan to. Let's do this now. If they did plan to save their Luminarch, they should have blocked the Stinger with the Savior. Okay, that's 2 damage we scammed. A pair of 4-point flares might be able to end the game. It depends if the opponent can get a lifelinker down right now. This is where they want Lurrus. If they have a Lurrus, I don't think we're done. They have Skyclave Apparition. That won't do it. So now we just need to stay alive for 2 turns. So you'll see me chump block this turn. Five. Okay, another land. One off. Right. What you got? Instead of keeping them in suspense. Oh, they're nice. If this is the part where they drop a Ruined Halo, they would still die to the fairy, I suppose. It would just be funny. Let him have a hit. The double flare move. And we are back for the post-game wrap pretty rough go of it for cycling, at least a pretty rough start to my day, and you can watch some of the games and decide whether they were bad luck or just bad play, however you want to put it, bad deck. The deck is a bit of a cannon, and it fires best when on the play with some early creatures. A little mana trouble will disarm it, but that is pretty much universal in Magic the Gathering most of the time. I think that's why monocolor aggro decks are the most popular, because they actually can survive and still win with a few mana issues, but multicolor decks that have average curve in the 3 to 4 cost area, they just can't do it, you know? They miss a land drop and they're done. But let's check out the stats brought to you by MTGA Assistant. The link is in the channel. It does support the channel if you download it, and it is free to download. So if you want a way to support the channel for free, just download MTGA Assistant. Appreciate it a lot. So where do we hide cycling in here? Oh, there it is. All right, so how'd we do? 6 times on the draw, 50% win rate. 4 times on the play, 75% win rate. Pretty much checks out. My last, I rattled off a nice little 3-game win streak in about 6 minutes per game after some pretty tough losses earlier. Had a pretty tough 3-game losing streak in there as well. So definitely the worst I've done since hitting Mythic, but I think some of the luck wasn't with me on that one. And I still think this is a good choice if your goal is specifically to get to as high a rank as you can or get to Mythic, as some really good matchups, with the toughest ones being decks that run Embercleave or get lucky enough to draw all the counter spells they need and never tap out. So that's the way I look at the deck. I hope that you guys will play it sparingly. It's one of those things. Get the job done. Get in, get out. Don't play this for fun. It's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be work. I don't know. Some people might enjoy cycling. It's work for me. But anyway, still a 60% win rate over 10 games in high Mythic. I think it'll get you there. And that's going to conclude this series that I've done for about 5 decks that I think that will get you to Mythic. Mono White Life, Mono Red, Cycling, Sultai, Ultimatum. What was the last one? Rogues. Yep. I think that those are good choices for March 2021. I've shown you the builds. I've shown you how they do up here. I've shown you all the statistics and the games that go along with it. So hopefully it helps you make your choice about what your grinder deck of the month can be. And next week, we're going to get back into the brewing and the nonsense. So we have a promotion coming up. A promotion. Oh my. What could it be? What could it be? You're going to have to tune in tomorrow to find out. Let's just say it's going to involve another sky full of sharks and an opportunity for some people who may have missed it before to get their hands on the greatest token of all time. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for staying till the end. You're cool.